These past few weeks, I've been reminiscing with Carl about some of the experiences we have shared over the years. I've posted some of the stories on social media, and I decided to take one and give a few more details here for your entertainment. Or as we often say, so you can see you're not alone and we're all in this relationship marriage thing together. We just hang on for the ride with God on our side. That's what I always say. One year, actually it was me, decided we should do a Tough Mudder. Look them up online and you'll know what it was. It was a large undertaking for someone who doesn't normally exercise. That'd be me. The goal is to start and finish as a team so that you receive a headband, a shirt, a beer, and bragging rights. Seriously, that's it. I have never taken a challenge like this in my life, so I decided we better get into shape for this one, especially me. My husband and I began a workout routine for the 5 months before the event. To prepare for that task ahead, we signed up with some family and team members from work. Wow. We had our team set and we were ready for the event when the day arrived. At least I thought we were. When we arrived bright and early, the nerves began to set in. What was I thinking? I couldn't say it out loud because I was the one who came up with the idea. Okay, one of our daughter's friends joined us and she forgot her inhaler. That'd slow us down a bit. Another team member, they didn't think he needed to work out because he judged he was in shape enough. I'd catch up with him later. We were ready either way. We're going to do this. So, one of the first obstacles was called the Arctic Enema. That sounds exciting, huh? Basically, it's a fancy ice bath that you slide into full immersion and climb back out of. I thought it'd be easy peasy, right? Carl jumped into that enormous tank of ice water, and I jumped in after him. He started to walk through the ice water towards the other side, and he climbed right out. No problem. Yeah, this is where the problem started. When I jumped into that ice bath, my mind was like, sure thing, follow your husband. However, my body was like, what is this? And I couldn't move. I was frozen in place. No matter how hard I wanted to move, my body was like, nope, sorry, not today. My husband was almost out of the tank, that frustrating, freezing obstacle, when he looked back and realized I was still at the beginning, standing, not moving. So my poor husband, he had to get back in the ice water and come and get his wife, me, and drag my lifeless body to the other side. Now that's love. Then the final obstacle in the course was called the electric shock therapy. Electric shock therapy. If the name doesn't deter you, the description of the obstacle will. Here's a brief description from their website. Ready for this? Perhaps Tough Mudder's most controversial obstacle, this simple structure remains largely unchanged from its inception and earliest days on course. A field of wires dangling from a rectangular frame, clicking at 10,000 volts, crackle through them. Over the years, mud trenches, rows of hay, and even grandstand have been added to enhance the spectacle. A rite of passage for most participants and favorite among spectators who enjoy watching the carnage. When we signed up for the event, I expressly stated to my husband, we can skip that last obstacle. One of the best benefits of doing a Tough Mudder is you're able to do some, all, or none of the obstacles in the course. It's up to you and your team. Either way, it's a team effort. You start, remember, and end together. The biggest part of this event is you work as a team. Throughout the day, we worked as a team through many of the obstacles until the final one was between us and that famous headband. I'm not sure if it was the heat or pure adrenaline from running and capturing every obstacle, but one of us, it might be me, said, hey, let's finish strong by doing this one too. My husband looked back at me in shock. No pun intended. And said, seriously? And then he said, all right. And he grabbed my hand and we headed to that infamous target with hanging wires, and I stood for a moment in front of it and just soaked in the seriousness of that challenge. In front of me was a large frame with wires hanging down, and rows of hay laid perfectly in the way of my finish line. My husband didn't even hesitate, of course not, and immediately interlocked his hands and put them in front of him to block the wires from his face, because we learned, and he marched through as fast as he could, and he made it look so easy, even though you could see the after effects of his body twitching with the wires touching his shoulders. I decided I was going to run right behind him and follow suit with my hands in front of mine so I could do that too. If he could do it, I could do it, right? Okay. Almost halfway across, I tripped over one of the bales of hay as I got shocked and fell to the ground in a pathetic heap. I decided that's where it would end. It was a good run. They could turn off the wires when everyone left, and they could come and get me. I was a mess. My husband had completed the obstacle, and he turned around to find me in the middle of the hot wire mess, and there I was. What did he do? Well, first he shook his head. And then without hesitation, he ran back into the burning building of wires to get me. He grabbed my hand and dragged me and carried me out of the hot mess and picked me up that I got myself into. We made it, despite my unwilling body. Yeah, we made it through all the obstacles together. And not once did my husband say, "What were you thinking?" When you wanted to do this, he just did it with me, no complaints. He's my helpmate. In spite of my crazy ideas, I love this man. Will I stop coming up with crazy ideas? Probably not. But I can guarantee my husband will be by my side as we do them together. That's love. That's sacrifice. And we're doing this together with God as he guides our steps each day, each month, each year, no matter what. Love you guys.